Hello YouTube, Validation Boy here. Just yesterday I came across this hilarious little article from CNN.com and I just had to share it with you guys. It's about Scott Kelly and his return from space on March 1st coming up here. And the article is titled, Scott Kelly from Space, Earth's Atmosphere Looks Very, Very Fragile. I'm just going to go ahead and read parts of it to you. They just pile lies on top of lies, it's hilarious. You gotta hear this garbage. This article was uploaded on February 12th, or updated on February 12th at 5:50 p.m. and reads as follows. In one of his final interviews from the International Space Station, astronaut Scott Kelly, whose twin brother is married to Gabby Giffords, said that Earth's atmosphere looks very, very fragile and like something that we need to take care of. Kelly will return to Earth in March, but spoke with CNN's chief medical correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, via satellite. During his time at the space station, Kelly has remained active on social media and often shares his unique perspective of the planet by posting photos. Because of his spectacularly encompassing vantage point, Gupta asked Kelly how he would define the Earth's condition if it were a human body. There are definitely parts of Asia, Central America, says Scott Kelly, that when you look at them from space, you're always looking through a haze of pollution. As far as the atmosphere is concerned, and being able to see the surface, I would say definitely those areas that I mentioned look kind of sick. When you look at the atmosphere on the limb of the Earth, I wouldn't say it looks unhealthy, but it definitely looks very, very fragile and just kind of like this thin film. So it looks like something we definitely need to take care of. This part's the kicker. Check out these numbers. Kelly is currently in his 501st day in space over 6 different missions and the 321st day of his one-year mission aboard the ISS. He's now been in space longer than any other U.S. astronaut. Okay, 501, 5 plus 1 equals 6. He's on his 6 different missions, and this is the 321st day. 3 plus 2 plus 1 equals 6. So you got your 666 right there. And then he's released 18 photos, and of course 18 is 6 plus 6 plus 6. These Freemason stooges just can't stop. Part of his current mission includes conducting a twin health study comparing the mental and physical toll on Kelly's body in space with his twin brother, retired astronaut Mark Kelly, who's on Earth. Of course, Mark Kelly's the jackass married to Gabby Giffords, the fake shooting victim of Jared Lee Loughner. The medical tests are measuring the impact of zero gravity on bone density, vision, the microbiome, blood, heart and cells, as well as the psychological impact on mood, stress, and cognitive functions. Kelly says he's doing well, although he feels like he's been up in space for a really long time and looks forward to getting home soon. I don't really have any surprises, Kelly said. A lot of the research we do is imagery based. Just this morning, I was doing some ultrasound exams on my eyes, on my heart, and a lot of that data is stuff that will be analyzed by scientists and researchers, and it will take time well after I'm back before we have results. When you do an ultrasound, you have to know all the angles to capture an image. Back to the article. Kelly says he will splash down on March 1st along with Russian cosmonaut Mikhail Komlenko, who has spent the year with him on the ISS after launching on March 27, 2015. Kelly also talked about the passage of time on the ISS, how feasible a trip to Mars could be, his views on private space travel, and even what he would ask the candidates during a debate. So Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent, goes on to ask, one of the objectives for this mission, besides the twin study, was to look at how feasible a mission to Mars might be. If this were a mission to Mars, which takes 9 months or longer, you'd in fact just be getting started with that mission as opposed to getting near to the end. I'm curious, with all that you've learned, all that you've seen, do you think Mars is feasible? And also, when we eventually maybe get there, do you think there's extraterrestrial life? Kelly says, yeah, I think it's definitely feasible. I think there are certain challenges, the radiation environment between the Earth and Mars is something that we're going to have to figure out. Because we get protection here on the space station, although we get a lot more radiation than you do on Earth. You get much more on your way to Mars, so that's a challenge. I think the biggest challenge, though, is the public support and the financial support from our government or other governments to do this, because I think technically pretty much anything we have ever put our mind to, we have been able to accomplish. Come on, guys! So I think the challenge is mostly from public and government financial support. As far as whether there is life on Mars, or whether there was actually ever life there, I don't know. It would be great to find out, though. Gupta goes on to say, gravitational waves have been found, proving yet another one of Einstein's theories correct. Another one of his theories that has to do with the space-time continuum, which would dictate that you're aging more slowly than your twin brother Mark, who's here on Earth. Obviously, it's a minuscule difference, but I'm curious, does it feel different time-wise? Does time change for you in some way being up there? Kelly says, we are in this environment that is like a laboratory in many ways. In some ways, it's kind of like a submarine or a ship, but one in which you cannot leave and one in which you know, I'm at work when I go to sleep. I'm at work when I wake up. I've been here since March 2015. It's not like the days seem to go by slower, but definitely the whole period of time seems like a long time. A year now seems longer than I thought it would be, and so I definitely have an appreciation for certain things that freedom and being on Earth can provide. It's different when you're in space, but I definitely think I would kind of relish my freedom more after this experience than maybe I did before. Yeah, probably because NASA has you holed up in a hotel room somewhere for the entire year. Gupta then asks, I'm curious about your views on private space travel. There's been a lot of energy and money, frankly, around that industry lately. As someone who's done it, been up there, what do you think? Do you support it? Do you encourage it? Kelly says, absolutely. This is an amazing experience. This is an incredibly complex facility, and by doing really hard things, we reap the benefits, and commercial space travel is hard. So, by developing those rockets and systems to have more people visit and live in space for periods of time, there will be benefits to that. It is something that I definitely feel strongly about. It's great that we have these companies that are pursuing this because then it lets NASA direct their energy and focus on the frontier, the places we haven't been to before. Yeah, such as space. I think those are the kinds of things the government should be involved with, and I think something NASA does very well. I'm sure you'd say that, Scott. Gupta then asks, what would you ask our future president or presidential candidates? We have a series of debates coming up here on CNN, and I wanted to give you the floor for a second time, Commander, to ask a question of our next president. Kelly says, you know, I guess, as an astronaut, as a NASA astronaut, I would feel obligated to ask a space-related question and what their goals and their vision are for our space program. I think our history in space and the ISS and those other things we do have significant value to our economy. To who we are as a people, as a species, really. I would want to know what their vision is for NASA and how they would plan to execute their vision. Okay, that's the end of the article. I just couldn't help reading this out to you guys. It's just lies on top of lies on top of lies, validating more lies and more lies. How stupid do these people think we are? Thanks for watching, guys.